Have you ever noticed that a room can be full of sound and still feel lonely? Sometimes the loudest places hide the quietest hearts. It was the middle of winter. Snow drifted slowly outside a small apartment building near the university. On the third floor lived a student who hated silence. Every evening after returning from class, he turned on music. Old jazz records spun on a small player. The television hummed softly in the background. Outside his window, city lights flickered and crowded cafés buzzed with life. She thought noise made a place feel alive, but somehow her apartment still felt empty. Directly above her apartment lived an elderly woman. Her apartment was different. No music, no television, no visitors, just a warm yellow light glowing behind her curtains every night. The student often lay awake listening, but there was nothing to hear, only silence. And strangely, that silence made him curious. How could someone live so peacefully without filling every moment with sound? One snowy evening, the wind howled through the streets as the student climbed the stairs to his apartment. Outside her door sat a bowl of homemade vegetable soup. Steam curled gently into the cold air. There was no note, no explanation, only warmth. As she ate beside her window, watching snow cover the rooftops, something felt different. For the first time in a long while, she felt cared for. The next evening, she stopped by a bakery and bought a fresh loaf of bread. She carried it upstairs. No grand gesture, no long conversation, just bread shared between neighbors. That simple moment became the beginning of a quiet friendship. Some nights they drank tea, some nights they shared dinner beside an old heater. Most of the time they barely spoke, yet neither of them seemed bothered by the silence. As the weeks passed, small routines formed. The elderly woman would prepare soup. The student would bring bread or fruit from the market. Outside, snow continued to fall. Inside, warm lamps glowed across bookshelves, knitted blankets, and old family photographs. Nothing extraordinary happened, and somehow that made it beautiful. One afternoon, the student sat inside her favorite crowded cafe. The room was filled with conversation and laughter, but now she noticed different things. The gentle clink of a spoon against a cup, steam rising from hot coffee, snow melting near the doorway. The world had not changed, but she had. The quiet evenings upstairs had taught her how to listen. Sometimes they walked to the neighborhood market together. The elderly woman moved slowly. The student matched her pace. They carried groceries through narrow streets lined with glowing shop windows. Their footsteps pressed softly into fresh snow. Few words were spoken, none were needed. The silence between them no longer felt empty, it felt comfortable. Then one winter night, a snowstorm swept through the city. The electricity suddenly disappeared. Lights went out across the entire neighborhood. The building fell silent. The student made her way upstairs. Inside the elderly woman's apartment, candles flickered gently on a wooden table. Tea steamed from small cups. Together they watched snow swirl outside the dark windows, and in that quiet room surrounded by candlelight, the student understood something she had never understood before. Silence was not something to fear. Most people think loneliness comes from being alone, but loneliness is not the absence of people, it is the absence of connection. A crowded cafe can feel lonely, a noisy room can feel lonely, even a busy life can feel lonely, yet a simple bowl of soup, a shared meal, a slow walk through falling snow, can make a person feel seen. Connection does not always arrive through words, sometimes it arrives through kindness. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next one.